Hey, what's up, my guys? How you guys doing today? I hope you guys are doing good. You guys are looking great. So today we're going to be talking about vegan and vegetarian. What is it? Where did it come from? When was it accepted? Why do people do it? And what are the biggest cons from doing it? But yeah, let's talk chef, guys. All right, so vegetarian, what is it? What does the word vegetarian mean? So Merriam-Webster defines vegetarian as a person who doesn't eat meat, someone whose diet solely consists of vegetables, fruits, grains, nuts, sometimes eggs or dairy products. So that's what the definition of vegetarian means. Now, where did it come from? So the idea of vegetarian came a long time ago, back to ancient times. So the whole idea of being vegetarian, the whole idea of vegetarianism itself started back in ancient times. So back then it was basically used for a temporary purification or as a means to qualify for a priestly function. Essentially to either become a priest or temporarily purify yourself, so basically be healthier in a sense. But the idea of avoidance of eating flesh was kind of first recorded back in 530 BC as a teaching of Pythagoras, you know, the philosopher, that said that the relationship between all animals is a basis for human benevolence towards other creatures. So back then, the term vegetarian was considered Pythagorean. So back then, you wouldn't say I'm vegetarian or vegetarian, the word, it'd just be Pythagorean, which was later replaced by the word vegetarian on September 29, 1847 in Ramsgate, England, when the first vegetarian society was formed. So that's when the word vegetarian really came into play, really came to what it means now. All right, so when was this idea or ideology really accepted of vegetarianism and being a vegetarian? So it really started gaining more acceptance around the 19th to 20th century, where more US cookbooks actually started to pop up, including these vegetarian recipes, including these vegetarian cooking styles started coming into place. So that's really when it started to be more accepted and started to be more integrated into today's now society. So why do people become vegetarian? Now, me myself, I am not vegetarian, right? I eat meat. I enjoy everything the earth has to offer, right? But at least what I hear from my vegetarian friends and from people on the internet and all this stuff, you know, not to go crazy or whatever, but the reason I hear people do it is, one, animal rights. You know, they don't like the way that animals are being treated or the way that these big companies mass produce food or meat and the way they treat all these animals unfairly, according to them. And also some people do it for health motives, so they can have less of a predisposition to cardiovascular issues such as heart attacks or strokes. And another reason they do it is for religious reasons. I know that there's some religions out there that do prohibit you eating meat or you being sustained solely by vegetables or what the earth has to offer as a vegetarian. So the biggest cons or the biggest takeaways from being a vegetarian itself, well, rather from being vegetarian, is very less convenient. One, you know, nowadays everyone wants what's more easy, readily available, and just makes life simpler. So another biggest con of this would be reduced satiety. Basically not feeling full, not feeling the full satisfaction of what other food, including a meat-based diet, would include, right? Including meat into your diet would make you feel. Another one is possible nutrient deficiency. And those three are actually the biggest cons there are to become a vegetarian. Don't get me wrong, there are health benefits that come with becoming vegetarian, but we're not gonna worry about those because all right, next, vegan. What is it? Again, Merriam-Webster defines veganism as a strict vegetarian who doesn't consume any food that comes from animals, and also one who abstains himself from using animal products. Basically, it's just the practice of abstaining yourself from animal products, particularly in the diet sense, and it's associated with a philosophy that rejects the commodity status of animals. So anyone who really follows this diet or philosophy itself is considered vegan, and that's what the term veganism falls under. So where did this idea of being a vegan come from, or where did the idea of vegan itself come from? So it came from this guy called Donald Watson back in 1944. So at the time, TB, tuberculosis, had been found in about like 40% of Britain's dairy cows the year before, and he essentially used this statement, or rather this fact, to his own advantage, right? Claiming that following this vegan lifestyle would protect themselves, or rather protect people from all this tainted food that was found back then. So the term veganism itself wasn't established until November 1st of 1944. So basically back then, anyone who didn't eat meat or any animal byproducts or dairy started calling themselves vegan. So when was this accepted? when was the idea of being a vegan accepted? So I wouldn't say it was really accepted on November 1st, 1944, when the World Vegan Day was created. But I will say that it was more okay in a sense to be a vegan. But I would say that it became more accepted within the last 10 years, starting around 2014 to 2017, when the amount of consumers here in the States started identifying themselves as vegans. It jumped from 1% here in the States to 6%. So why do people do it? Why do people become vegan? So most people, or most vegans, do it solely for the reason, for the animal welfare and the moral values behind the meaning, essentially. Other reasons vegans do it, or other reasons people decide to become vegan, is because some people believe that eating meat or anything that comes from an animal is a non-human necessity. Basically, we don't need it as humans. We don't even need to concern ourselves with such things. Other people do it for environmental reasons, and other people honestly don't trust animal protein to be eating it. They don't believe it was ever meant for us to eat it. Some of the biggest cons, though, that come with being a vegan is the lack of nutrients, such as vegetarianism. With veganism, there's a lack of nutrients, or you fall short of calcium, omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin B12, and folate. It's very hard to compensate not having meat or not having animal byproducts. I know it is possible to find supplements for them or find substitutes for all of these nutrients, but it's just not the same, right? And I think one of the biggest downfalls ever of these two is that you can't go to Korean barbecue and just like have a night out, you know? You can't. I don't know, man. I just wouldn't be able to do it, right? But at the end of the day, these two are very similar in their own respect. They go hand in hand, and I understand why a lot of people get them confused. So hopefully this helped you out, cleared the air, helped you understand what a vegan is, what being a vegetarian is, the differences between them, and now you know a little bit of history behind them too. If you found any of this useful, go ahead and give me a follow on Instagram, on TikTok, and don't forget to subscribe here as well and hit that bell, you know, so when I post, you guys will be notified when the video is up. And if I missed anything, or any vegans or vegetarians out there are realizing that I missed anything, go ahead and leave it in the comments below, and go ahead and leave your reason why you became vegan, why you became vegetarian. This way we can know more, and we can stay informed, and we could talk chef about it later again. All right, you guys stay safe. I love you guys. Peace out.